The air gets colder, and the night grows darker. The fog thickens, wrapping around you like a shroud. You can almost feel the weight of the stories that have been told in this place, stories of fear and mystery. You feel a chill, like someone is walking on your grave. The silence is deafening, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves or the distant hoot of an owl. It's as if the very air is alive with whispers of the past. You're alone, and the only sound is your own footsteps. Each step echoes, amplifying the sense of isolation. You can't shake the feeling that you're being watched, that something unseen is lurking just out of sight. This is where she whispers. Her voice is soft, almost seductive, but there's an edge to it, a hint of malice. The whispers seem to come from everywhere and nowhere, filling your mind with dread. This is where she shows up. One moment the path is empty. The next, she's there, a ghostly figure emerging from the fog. Her presence is both mesmerizing and terrifying, a haunting reminder of the stories that have been passed down through generations. This is where the story of Kuchisake-onna begins, in the dark and mysterious past of Japan. The ancient streets and villages, shrouded in darkness, hold secrets that have been buried for centuries. It's a place where history and legend intertwine. Her story is very old, told over and over for many years. Passed down through generations, it has become a part of the cultural fabric, a tale that both fascinates and frightens. The old books and scrolls are filled with accounts of her appearances, each one more chilling than the last. Some people say she was a beautiful woman, whose face was hurt by her jealous husband. They say her beauty was her curse, leading to her tragic fate. The image of a bride with a hidden face is a poignant reminder of the pain and suffering that lies beneath the surface. Others say she was a spirit, twisted by anger and sadness. Her sorrow and rage transformed her into a vengeful ghost, haunting the places where she once lived. The twisted, mournful figure is a symbol of the deep emotional scars that never heal. No matter how it started, the legend continues, a scary reminder of the darkness hidden beneath the surface. The eerie forest and unsettling imagery serve as a backdrop to a story that refuses to fade away, a testament to the power of fear and superstition. Kuchisake-onna is like the scary things we imagine in the dark. She embodies our deepest fears, the things that go bump in the night. The image of a child hiding under a blanket captures the universal fear of the unknown, the monsters that lurk in the shadows. She's a warning to be careful around strangers and to be careful what you wish for. The mysterious figure approaching in the fog is a stark reminder that not everything is as it seems and that danger can come from the most unexpected places. Her story is a mix of fear, superstition, and the unknown. But what's the truth? The superstitious symbols and eerie night sky hint at a deeper mystery, one that may never be fully understood. Is she a figment of our imagination or something more sinister? Is she just something we made up, or is she something worse, something evil that walks among us? The eerie figure in a crowd suggests that she could be anywhere, hiding in plain sight, a dark presence that we can never truly escape. That answer, my friends, is hidden in the shadows. The moving shadows and hidden figures remind us that some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved, leaving us to wonder and fear what might be lurking just out of sight. Imagine a woman, not just any woman, but one who seems to have stepped out of your darkest nightmares. She's tall and thin, wearing a long coat that hides her body. The coat, dark and flowing, seems to merge with the shadows around her, making her almost ghost-like. Her hair is long, black as night, falling down her back like a waterfall. It moves with an eerie grace as if it has a life of its own, swaying gently even when there's no breeze. But it's her face, oh her face, that you'll never forget, even in your nightmares. Partially obscured by shadows, it holds a haunting beauty that is both captivating and terrifying. Her mouth, once a pretty shape, is now a scary cut, sliced from ear to ear in a horrible smile. This grotesque grin is a permanent reminder of her tragic past, a scar that tells a story of pain and vengeance. You can see the red, open flesh underneath, a constant reminder of what happened to her. The wound is raw, almost as if it never heals, a perpetual state of agony that fuels her rage. She hides this awful wound behind a surgical mask, something you see a lot in Japan, but a scary detail in her story. The mask, a common sight, becomes a symbol of her hidden horror, a facade that barely conceals the terror beneath. Kuchisake-onna is a creature of the night. She thrives in darkness, where her presence is most unsettling. The night is her domain, a realm where she can move unseen, a phantom in the shadows. She walks the empty streets hunting for people who are alone, her eyes shining with an evil light. These eyes, glowing with a malevolent gleam, are the only warning of her approach, a sinister beacon in the dark. They say she especially likes children, drawn to their innocence and helplessness. The young ones, unaware of the danger, are her favorite prey, their purity a stark contrast to her corrupted soul. But the scariest thing about her is her voice. It's not just a sound, it's an experience that chills you to the bone, a whisper that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere, wrapping around you like a cold fog. It's a whisper, a hiss, a scratchy question that makes you shiver. Am I beautiful? This question, simple yet loaded with dread, is the prelude to a nightmare, a query that seals your fate. There are many stories about Kuchisake-onna, the slit-mouthed woman, a figure that has haunted the imaginations of many. These tales have been passed down through generations of Japanese schoolchildren, each retelling more chilling than the last. They whisper her name quietly, their eyes wide with fear and fascination, as if speaking too loudly might summon her. Each time the story is told, it gets scarier, adding new details to the nightmare, making it more real and more terrifying. One famous story tells of some kids walking home from school, their laughter fading as the sky darkens. It's getting late, the sun is setting, casting an eerie glow over the landscape. The shadows are getting longer and scarier, stretching out like dark fingers reaching for them. They hear something behind them, a soft sound, like silk rubbing together, sending chills down their spines. They turn around and see a woman standing there, her face hidden by a surgical mask, her presence both mysterious and menacing. "Am I beautiful?" she asks, her voice a raspy whisper that seems to cut through the night air. The children are frozen with fear, not knowing what to do, their minds racing with the stories they've heard. They've heard the stories, they know the legend, and they understand the danger they are in. They know their answer could mean life or death, and the weight of that decision hangs heavily in the air. Another story tells of a young man walking home alone late one night. He feels someone behind him, a cold feeling on his neck. He turns and sees Kuchisake-onna standing there, her eyes staring into his. "Am I beautiful?" she asks, her voice like nails scratching on a chalkboard. The man is terrified, his mind racing. He knows the legend, knows there is no right answer. He tries to run, but she's too fast. She jumps at him, her scissors shining in the moonlight. These stories, as scary as they are, have a purpose. They are warnings to be careful around strangers and to stay alert in the dark. They remind us that evil can be anywhere, even wearing an ordinary mask. Section 5. A culture gripped by fear. The enduring impact of Kuchisake-onna. The legend of Kuchisake-onna has changed Japanese culture. She's more than just a scary story. She represents the anxieties and fears that bother modern society. Her story speaks to our deepest instincts, our fear of the unknown, the different, the strange. Her legend has stayed alive not just by people telling the story, but also through books, movies, and video games. She's become a big part of Japanese horror, her scary image easy to recognize. Section 6. Beyond the Mask, Psychological Interpretations of the Legend. Some experts think the legend of Kuchisake-onna shows a deep fear of beauty and fitting in that exists in Japanese society. Her disfigurement, her scary grin, could be a metaphor for the pressure to look and act a certain way. Others see her as a symbol of female anger and resentment. They say her story reflects how women have been silenced and treated unfairly throughout history. Her violence, her desire for revenge shows this bottled-up anger. Section 7. Kuchisake-onna in modern times, from urban legend to pop culture icon. Even though she's scary, Kuchisake-onna has also become a pop culture icon. Her image is used to sell everything from candy to clothes. She's been in lots of anime, manga, and video games. Her legend changed and retold for a new generation. This fascination with Kuchisake-onna shows how much we're interested in horror and scary things. We're drawn to the things that scare us, the things that make us question what's real. Section 8. Conclusion. The unfading scar of Kuchisake-onna. The legend of Kuchisake-onna reminds us that some stories never really go away. They stay hidden in the shadows, passed down from one generation to the next, still able to scare us. She is a warning, a symbol of our deepest fears, and proof of the power of storytelling. So, the next time you're walking alone at night, remember the legend of Kuchisake-onna. Listen carefully to the sounds around you, and be careful who you ask, "Am I beautiful?" Because the answer, my friends, might be the last words you ever say.